Well, hello everybody. Pretty intense day. The world has probably never been more divided. And because of the day, and because again of me learning so many things, like for instance, what I shared about maritime law and contract law, I accidentally was just led to some information that was totally new to me. And perhaps some of you are ahead of me on this. So it turns out that there are 3 city states in the world that have an obelisk. And I'm just going to show you on this picture here. Okay, you see that? So it seems that Washington D.C. is one of them. The city of London, so there's an actual separate city state in the greater city of London, which is sort of the main financial sector. And then there's the Vatican City, which is within. And so I didn't know that, okay? So I found something, guys. You guys are inspiring me. By me communicating with you, it's giving me a fortification, and I want definitely your feedback on this. So I'm just an ordinary person, people. I just want to stress that I'm an ordinary person, and no special degree in some Bible college or anything like that. Okay, I'm just studying from my own personal place, and so what really struck me is, remember when, please go back and watch what I discovered about the frogs coming out of the mouth of these 3 entities, the beast, the dragon, and the false prophet. Okay? Well, then, in that same scripture in Revelation, it after it speaks about those entities with those frogs, which I associate with the propaganda, because that word frog, go back and watch that video. Okay, so it continues and it begins to speak of the great city in Revelation 16 and 19. And it says, the great city was split into 3 parts, and the cities of the nations fell. Okay, Babylon the Great was remembered before God. Okay, so I thought, oh, isn't that interesting? You see, I didn't realize about these 3 city states and the division of global power between the Vatican City, London City, and Washington City. And we can clearly see Washington is very much linked to the military, and London is linked to the financial, and the Vatican is linked to kind of the, just potentially the distortion of the power of religion, even though there's many faithful people inside all religions. Okay, so what's the connection? What am I getting at? Okay, so this is probably going to be one of the more complicated videos I make, because if we go to the next chapter 17, so in Revelation, I'm just going to turn the page so I can stay on track, is it again, it starts, this is where it goes into that great detail about what I was telling you about with her destruction. Okay, so the next few scriptures. Now, what's interesting here, what's really interesting, is Revelation 17 and 5. And it speaks of this woman, this harlotous woman who wears purple and scarlet and is adorned with all these, extremely valuable, ornate decorations. But it says, on her forehead was written a name, a mystery. Now, I do not know why this is the way it is in the Bible, but for some reason, the Bible translations all put this in capital letters. Okay, it's always in capital. So I'm going to show you. I got it zoomed in. You see how it says Babylon the Great, the mother. You see? The mother of harlots and of the abominations of the earth. Now, I was looking at that, and, maybe there's a reason in the original manuscripts, but because I had been studying contract law, I thought, is this a coincidence? That when, on our birth certificate, how do they write our name? In all capital letters. If you sign a contract, any kind of contract, like a mortgage or what, then when they print your name, it's always in capital letters? Is this a coincidence? I don't think so, people. I don't think so. It's right in front of us. Okay? Now, the part I want to link to is because she is said to be the mother of the abominations, okay? The abominations and also Babylon the Great. Now, what's significant here is this Babylon the Great is one time mentioned in the book of Daniel. Okay, so nowhere else in the Bible is the term Babylon the Great used except in the book of Daniel. Okay, so now why is that significant to me? The reason it's significant to me is for a few reasons. So it was Nebuchadnezzar who said it, and he claimed that he was so great. And he says, the king reflected and said, "Is this not Babylon the Great, which I myself have built as a royal residency by the might of my power and for the glory of my majesty?" Okay, and then what happened is he was knocked down with a type of insanity and became and lived like an animal, okay? Which, seems like that's kind of what's happening to humanity, we're becoming pretty animalistic. Well, the next thing that's significant in the book of Daniel, very, very significant, is in Daniel chapter, I think it's chapter 12. I'm going to go to it because this is like, I can't even believe I found this, people. I'm really, really surprised. Now, in the Bible, there is a lot of numbers, okay? There is a lot of numbers, which we really, people that study the Bible become very, very curious about. And so the number that I have always wondered about, the numbers I've always wondered about, is in Daniel chapter 12, right at the end. It says, from the time, it says, listen, from the time the regular sacrifice is abolished and the abomination of desolation is set up, there will be 1,290 days. Now, the abomination, this word, the abomination, is linked to the scriptures I just read about Babylon the Great in Revelation, because she's the mother of the harlots and the abominations, okay? And we know with the language in Revelation, she is also eventually totally desolated, totally destroyed, burned with fire. Okay. Now, part of the challenge with the Bible, which got me started on this, and with the original one where I made about the Fibonacci, what I realized, what we are challenged with, is where are we, where's our timeline in reference to all of these prophecies, which seem to be patterns that there's a linkage to the Fibonacci. Because remember, the Fibonacci is if we can see where we are, what digit we're at, and then we can look at if it matches historically a pattern recorded in the Bible, and I'm just saying the Bible pattern, okay? Then if we can find a way to synchronize ourselves with this Bible language and patterns, then we will be able to say, well, look how that historically worked out. How will it work out for us? We will know what is coming. Okay, so why is this significant? I did not know about these 3 cities. I did not know that. Okay, if we take the year the United States was founded in 1776, so before that, the colonies were still under the city of London. But if we take 1776 and we add 1,290 years, okay, because the Bible does have a verse where it says a day for a year, a day for a year. Like when the Israelites went into the wilderness for 40 days and they were unfaithful, those 40 days got turned into 40 years. Okay, so let's just play with this for fun, okay? Let's see what we might hit. Okay, well, if you do that, it would bring you to the year 3066. Okay, so why is that significant? Well, the book of Revelation says its time period lasts for 1,000 years. Okay, so let's subtract that 1,000 years. Say we're not wanting to hit at the end of the millennia. We want to see. Okay, so then that puts us at 2066. Okay. Well, I thought, well, what's that? What's 2066 minus 2021? 45 years. Why is that significant? I'll tell you why. The next verse. It says, how blessed is he who keeps waiting and attains to the 1,335 days. The difference between these two numbers is 45. Okay, so is 2021 the year that this process of the abomination of desolation is coming to its conclusion? Are we in the 45-year period? I mean, I know 45 years, eh? It's not like a long time, but is it a long time? If it's begun, is it? No, it's not. So then, remember, look at it. It said in Revelation 16 that great city was split into 3, which we can see now with evidence. We have 3 city-states. Okay, and remember, this mystery, this Babylon the Great, it's capital letters in the Bible. And do we not use all capitals in our contract law? Okay. And the fact that this, again, can be linked to Daniel and to Nebuchadnezzar because of the term Babylon the Great. Okay, so you see how this is linking these prophecies, and now we can see an actual parallel of something occurring in our time period, linking this all together. I thought that would be something you guys would like to hear.